Hey guys, it's Teresa, and I want to share one of my daily rituals with you. I've been doing this yoga routine every single morning for many, many years. It's my favorite way to stretch, improve my flexibility, and promote long, lean muscles. All you'll need is a yoga mat and just follow along with me. So we're going to stand up at the front of our mat, feet together, shoulders down the back in mountain pose. Arms sweep out to the side, press the palms together up overhead. Inhale. Exhale. Now open the arms and swan dive forward into a forward bend. You want to try and keep your knees as straight as you can. You can put your fingertips to the front or beside your feet, or hold the backs of your ankles. You can also cross your forearms and hold your elbows. Inhale, exhale. Now bring your palms to your mat and step back into downward facing dog. Your hands are shoulder width apart, pressing firmly into your mat. Lift the sitting bones up to the ceiling. Balls of your feet push firmly into your mat, getting a nice deep stretch in those calves and hamstrings. Now bend your knees and come down into child's pose. And we're going to stretch our neck. So take your right palm and press it into your mat, holding your head to the opposite side, getting a nice deep stretch in your right shoulder and neck. Now press your left palm onto the mat, pressing your head to the opposite side with your right arm. Hands up to the front of your mat, tuck your toes under for downward facing dog. Really lifting those sits bones up to the ceiling. Now lightly jump or walk your feet up to the front of your mat and fold over your legs for a forward bend. Now look out to a flat back, creating a nice long line of energy from your tailbone to the crown of your head. And we're going to come up, arms out to the side, and press your palms overhead and look up towards your fingers. Now sweep the arms out to your sides, coming down to a forward bend. Look out to a flat back and step back into downward facing dog. The balls of your feet are pressed firmly into your mat, shoulders lifting up away from the ears, and your hips are lifting up. Now you're going to come down to your knees to child's pose. Now press your right hand into your mat as you stretch your neck with your left hand. And now switch sides. Hands up to the front of your mat, tuck your toes under for downward facing dog. Lightly jump or walk your feet up to your mat. Fold into your legs. Come out to a flat back. Now slowly come up and arms overhead. Sweep the arms out to the side. Come down into a forward bend. Look out to a flat back. Hands on the mat. And go back into downward facing dog. Now bend your knees and come back into child's pose. We're going to stretch our neck again once more. And switch sides. We're going to go through these series of poses one last time. So hands up to the front of your mat, tuck your toes under to downward facing dog. Come up to the front of your mat, fold into your forward bend. Arms out to the side, up overhead. Look up towards your fingertips. Swan dive forward into a forward bend. Look out to a flat back. Push back in a downward facing dog, lifting those hips up to the sky. Bend the knees and come back into child's pose. And let's stretch our neck. And this is really good for if you tend to wake up in the morning with a stiff neck. Switch sides. Bring your hands up to the front of your mat, pressing your palms firmly into the floor. tuck the toes under for downward facing dog. Now we're gonna do a series of lunges. So bring your right leg up to the front of your mat. The back heel stays lifted. I want you to bend deeply into this front knee. Keeping your hips facing forward, arms up overhead. Now we're going to drop the back heel and ground the outer foot for warrior one. Open the arms and the hips to warrior two. Tailbone to the floor, lift your abdomen in and up. Look out to your fingertips and relax the shoulders. Inhale, exhale. Now we're gonna move back into reverse warrior pose. And come forward to extended side angle. So your palm is going to be right next to the inside of your foot and your shoulder is going to be up against that right knee, pushing that hip open. Arm is extended overhead and gaze to the palm. Breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the nose. Now we're going to straighten that right knee for a side triangle pose. We're going to twist our body forward, hands on the mat. We're going to bring our forehead to our shin for a nice side stretch. Hands to the mat, push back in a downward facing dog. Now we're going to repeat that on the other side. So bring your left leg forward into high lunge. So the back heel is lifted, bend deeply into that left knee, arms up by the ears, rotating your hips forward. Now we're going to drop that back heel, ground the outer foot for warrior one. Open the arms and hips to warrior two. Relax the shoulders, gaze out over your fingertips. Tuck the hips under. Now we're going to move back into reverse warrior pose. And come forward to extended side angle. So palm is on the mat next to the inside of your foot. Arm is stretched up overhead and gaze to your palm. Inhale, exhale. Now straighten that leg for side triangle pose. And we're gonna twist our body forward and get a nice side stretch. So bring your chest to your knee. Hands to the front of your mat and push back in a downward facing dog. We're gonna do those 2 more times, 1 more time on each side. Now bring your right leg up to the front of your mat for a high lunge. Ground that outer foot for warrior one. Open the arms and hips to warrior two. Move back into reverse warrior pose. And come forward to extended side angle. Gaze up to your fingertips. Now we're going to bind this pose by clasping our arms around our torso for bound side ankle pose. Inhale, exhale. Now bring the palm back to the mat, and we're gonna straighten our knee for a side triangle pose. Twist your body forward for a nice side stretch, folding over your leg. Breathe in through the nose. Breathe out through the nose. Hands to the mat and push back in a downward facing dog. Really lifting those hips up to the ceiling. Inhale, exhale. Now bring your left leg up to the front of your mat, arms up overhead for a high lunge. Ground that outer foot and drop that back heel for warrior one. Open the arms and hips for warrior two. Move back in reverse warrior pose. And come forward into extended side angle. Gaze to your palm. Now we're going to bind the pose by clasping our arms around our torso for bound side ankle pose. Inhale, exhale. Now bring the palm back to your mat and your arm overhead. Straighten that leg for side triangle pose. Twist your body forward. Bring your forehead to your shin for a nice side stretch. Breathe in through the nose, Breathe out through the nose. Hands to your mat, we're gonna push back in a downward facing dog. Pressing the balls of your feet firmly into your mat. Hands are shoulder width apart. Lifting the sits bones to the ceiling. Inhale, exhale. Now bring that right leg up, and we're gonna do a low lunge. So bend your left knee and bring your toes to the floor. And bend deeply into this front knee. Hook the thumbs and come up for a nice deep stretch. Stretching that left quadricep. And look up towards your fingers. Now bring your hands to the mat, and we're gonna twist to the side and get a nice stretch in our lower back. Inhale, exhale. Hands to your mat, and now we're gonna go even deeper into the hip now. So we're gonna slide this leg across the front for a pigeon pose. So we're gonna rest on the outer edge of our right hip. Try to keep your weight distributed evenly. Hips are still facing forward. Walk your hands out and rest your forearms on the floor and recline onto your forearms. Shoulders melting down the back. Inhale, exhale. Now we're gonna come up and you're gonna reach back with your left arm and grab your left foot. Still trying to rotate your hips forward and bring the shoulder back around to the front. We're gonna get a nice stretch in that left quadricep. And if you wanna go deeper, you can bring this heel closer to your buttock. Abdomen is lifted, shoulders down. Inhale, exhale. Hands to the mat, we're gonna push back into downward facing dog. So tuck the toes under and come back. Really elongating that spine, lifting the hips to the ceiling. Now bring that left leg front for low lunge. So you're gonna drop that knee and those toes. Get a nice deep stretch in this front knee. Hook the thumbs and come up. Look up towards the ceiling. Inhale, exhale. Now hands to the mat, we're gonna twist to the side to get a nice stretch in our lower back. And now we're gonna go even deeper into this hip now for pigeon pose. So the leg slides across the front and you're gonna rest on that outer edge of the hip. Still trying to keep your hips rotated forward. Now we're gonna walk the hands out, rest our forearms onto the floor and recline onto your forearms. Just relax in this position. Breathe in, breathe out. Now we're gonna come up and we're gonna reach back with our right arm and grab onto our right foot. We're gonna stretch the quadricep. Still trying to bring the shoulder back to the front. Abdomen is lifted. Breathe in, breathe out. Now we're gonna go back into downward facing dog. Hands pressed firmly into the mat. Sits bones are lifting to the ceiling. Inhale, exhale. Now lightly jump or walk your feet up to the mat and fold into a forward bend. Look out to a flat back. And slowly roll up. Bring your hands to your center in prayer pose to seal and end your practice. You guys did a great job today. And I want to encourage you to pick your own favorite stretches or yoga poses and put it into a routine and make it a habit to do every single morning when you wake up. Stretching every day really does make a difference in your flexibility, strength, and balance. So thanks so much for joining me and doing yoga with me today, and I'll see you in my next video.